welcome back to the channel. This is Zoell here, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for January 8th, 2020. And overall, not the strongest show, but an enjoyable show. We started off the night with a tag team match between Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus Private Party. Adam Page came out and the crowd chanted cowboy shit. And my only question was, is he drunk? Because I'll get to it, but like during the commercial break, he was in the crowd drinking beers and talking with fans, and it looked like they were just like killing time. But anyway, overall, the match was good. Adam Page and Mark Quinn started off. Page gave Quinn a chop. He went for a suplex. Quinn hit him with a drop salt. He tags in Isaiah Cassidy, who hits a diving foot stomp to the chest. He goes for a pin, but Page kicks out at 1. Cassidy tags Quinn back in. They hit a bunch of tag team combinations before Quinn goes for the pin. He gets a 1 count. Quinn tags in Cassidy again. Adam Page shoulder tackles Cassidy, suplexes Quinn right on top of Cassidy before Adam Page tags in Kenny Omega. Cassidy gets chopped to hell, and I just laughed out loud because Cassidy, while he was getting chopped, he was letting out these baby kitten screams. Omega hits Cassidy with a beautiful backbreaker. Omega tags in Page. Cassidy kicks Page off the apron and springboards from the outside to the inside with a flatliner to Omega. Cassidy tags Quinn in. They hit a flying crossbody. Suicide dives to both Omega and Page on both sides of the ring. Quinn rolls Page back into the ring, hits a 450 splash for a very close 2 count. Quinn tags in Cassidy. Cassidy hits a standing Spanish fly for a 2 count before Omega interrupts the count. Cassidy springboards off the top rope, but Adam Page catches him with a big boot. Page catches Quinn, who jumps off the top rope with a fallaway slam. Page tags in Omega. They do an electric chair German suplex combination before Omega hits Cassidy in the back of the head with a knee strike. Omega goes for the V-trigger, but Quinn slides in. Omega reverses and hits a Snapdragon suplex, and I just cringe every time he hits that Snapdragon suplex because I feel like the person on the receiving end is just gonna break their freaking neck. But anyway, it still looks beautiful. Cassidy hits him with a low drop kick to the knee. Omega tries to monkey flip Cassidy outside of the ring. Quinn catches him on his black. Oh my god, it's 2 in the morning when I'm recording this, so excuse me, you guys. Quinn catches him on his back. He flips Cassidy back into the ring. They catch Omega with a spinning DDT. Cassidy goes for the pin. He gets another 2 count. Cassidy tags in Quinn, who goes to the top rope and misses a shooting star press. Omega tags in Page, and Omega holds Quinn while Page goes for his buckshot lariat, but Quinn ducks, and Page nearly collides with Omega before he stops himself. Quinn pushes Page into Omega, and they butt heads. And I guess this is supposed to be building up to the tension between Page and the Elite. I don't know where it's going to go. I didn't see any of that, but I feel like that's where the story is going. Page lands a big boot. Omega strikes with a jumping knee. Page hits a discus clothesline for a 2 count. Page officially tags in Omega. He puts Cassidy back in the electric chair position. Quinn grabs Cassidy and Private Party both hit a drop kick to Page. Quinn hits a hurricanrana, goes for the pin. Page interrupts. Page knocks Cassidy out of the ring. Omega unintentionally helps Quinn with a backflip kick to Page, but that doesn't, again, just playing into that tension. Omega and Paige hit a tag team move before Omega lands the one wing angel for the 3 count, and Kenny Omega and Adam Page win the match. After the match, Pac appears on the screen and he has the Rings of Saturn on Michael Nakazawa, and he basically tells Omega, like, I'm gonna keep beating the shit out of your friend every week until you give me my rematch. And this was just awkward to me how Omega kept looking at Adam Page back and forth between the screen before Adam Page tells him, go get your friend. I'm good. I'm about to go into the crowd and drink on air and get drunk, because that's some cowboy shit, I guess. I don't know. And this is what I saw. Twitter was just going crazy about this match. We have Riho defending her AEW Women's Championship against Chris Statlander. This was supposed to happen last week, but Chris Statlander obviously had prior obligations, which understandable, because if we could have put this match off longer, I wouldn't have minded it. But let's just say we need to get the championship off Riho ASAP, because she is doing nothing. Brandy Rose was on commentary for this match, and all I could think while she was talking was, someone tell her to shut the fuck up, because she sounds so terrible at trying to sound like a heel. It was uncomfortable, it was forced, it was bland, it was generic. Just stand in Cody's corner and look cute, girl. That is what you are here for. I know she's been training to wrestle, and from the videos that I've seen, she looks like she really wants to take it seriously, but you are good for, like I said, standing in the corner and doing like backstage PR stuff. I've seen her in interviews with Cody, and she talks about all the different companies that she's been working with to get AEW out there, and it sounds really good, and she sounds like she knows what she's doing. Like, she sounds like she's in her element there. So girl, just stay off my screen, because you're cute and all, but looks only get you so far. Anyway, this match started off good, but the ending with Brandy and the Nightmare Collective, I saw somebody on Twitter call them the NyQuil Collective, and I chuckled, because I see no lies. It's not working. Awesome Kong should be in the women's division, just beating the shit out of these girls and being the monster that Nyla Rose should be. But we all know that picking on Nyla Rose is the popular thing, because she's not bad, but she's not good either. She plays her part. But anyway, Riho hits a Hurricane on Statlander. She goes for a 619. Statlander catches her and then hits her with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a 2 count. Statlander lifts Riho for a suplex, goes for another pin. She sends Riho out to the corner. Riho tries to go for a roll. Well, she goes for a roll up into a diving foot stomp. And I feel like that's all Riho does, is just like diving foot stomps. And I get it. She's like 98 pounds, probably 105 pounds soaking wet. And from what I hear, she's good, but she's just not translating well to the American audience, and her not being there to defend the championship every week is really taking away from the fans getting invested. I mean, the AEW women's division already just sucks. So it's like, why would you have a champion that's not going to be there every week to get the crowd invested? Because I can tell you one thing, I did not want the AEW women's division to be a bathroom break, but that is exactly what they are. And from what I've read on the roster, they have some really good women on it. They could use a lot more, but from the group that they have, like, use these girls more. I'm sick of seeing the same crop of girls every week. It's just the crowd, myself included, we don't care. We just don't care. And it's like, please give us a reason to care. But I can go on forever. But anyway, Riho hits some running knees into Statlander in the corner. Statlander overpowers her. and she picks up Riho on her shoulders and drops her face first onto the mat. She hits a scissors kick on the back of Rio's neck, goes for the pin, only gets a 2 count. She goes to the top rope, but Statlander misses a moonsault. Riho hits a Northern Light suplex for a 2 count, and then Statlander just picks up Riho like nothing and holds her up for a stalling vertical suplex from the top rope from the outside of the ring to the inside. Just beautiful. At this point, Awesome Kong and Mel, as they're calling her on commentary, just tragic and cringe. They make their way to the ring. Excalibur asks Brandy what they're doing, and she says, "Oh, I don't know," because she's at the commentary table. How could she know what they're doing? Like, aren't they part of your group? Aren't you the leader of this group? Shouldn't you know what they're doing? But she tried to play this off like, oh, they have free minds. They can do what they want. And I'm just like, cringe, cringe, cringe. Statlander lands a big boot to the face, and while the ref is busy, Mel grabs Riho, throws her into the steel guardrail. Statlander hits a suicide dive on Mel, and this is when Brandy feels the need to leave commentary. So she gets up and makes her way to the ring. Statlander hits a suicide dive on Awesome Kong on the opposite side. Brandy and Statlander, they get in each other's face, they exchange some words, and you can just, the camera's panning behind Statlander, and from underneath the ring, this ugly ass dude comes from under the ring, and Excalibur immediately says, "Oh, that looks like Luther." And I could just see in the crowd's face, like, they don't know who the hell Luther is. I don't know who Luther is. Who the hell is Luther? But anyway, he comes from under the ring. He starts jaw jacking with Statlander, and while she's busy with him, Awesome Kong comes running towards her and hits a clothesline. And at this point, I'm like, where the fuck is the referee? What is the referee doing? This is just screaming disqualification. Like, where is the ref? And then the camera is just not on Riho and the ref, and I guess again they're just trying to play up this angle. But Awesome Kong and Mel basically tell Riho to go to the top rope and finish this match, but Riho has other plans, and she hits a crossbody on the Nightmare Collective. That got a little pop from the crowd. She goes back to the top rope. She misses a diving foot stomp. Statlander gorilla lifts Riho over her head, but Riho flips forward into a crucifix pin, and she misses a discus knee. Statlander lands a Falcon Arrow for a surprise 2 count. Awesome Kong grabs Statlander's leg, and at this point, I'm just like, this match is falling apart like quickly, because Statlander, while she has Riho up in the air, she basically walks to the rope so Awesome Kong can grab her leg, and I'm like, girl, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, Riho retains the championship with a roll up. Again, like, all this that I'm hearing about Riho, I don't see it. Like, I know that Kenny Omega is really big on her, but I just don't see it. It's like Britt Baker. I don't see. I don't see it. Like, I don't see it for her. I don't see it for feels. But if Riho feels the need to constantly be in Japan or wherever she goes, then let her stay there and take the title off her. Please. Like, this is just not doing anything for the division. Like, the Nightmare Collective, they have no heat at this point. It's not even go away heat. It's just, what the fuck are you doing, heat? Like, we don't care about what you're doing. Get off the screen. They ruined what started off to be a really, really good match. And at this point, I really wanted the championship to come off of Riho. Like, anybody at this point. Not Britt Baker, but anybody. So, I could see why Twitter was, up in arms about this match, because it just fucking sucked. The next match was Christopher Daniels versus Sammy Guevara. And I will say, my last review, I said that Sammy Guevara is like the annoying little brother. But while I feel that way, Sammy Guevara, he is slowly growing on me, because he is really coming into his own as a character. He's already really good in the ring. And you can just tell that he is learning how to draw from the crowd as a heel. He really must be learning from Chris Jericho, and it is really showing. So I'm happy about that. Um, uh, the match started. Guevara hits a hook kick on Daniels. He goes to the top rope and lands on his feet after a 350 splash. Daniels hits an exploder, a back body drop kick, clothesline, blue thunder bomb, all for a 2 count. Daniels goes for angel wings, but Guevara reverses it with a running knee strike and a running shooting star press for his own 2 count. Daniels goes for a backslide, and both men hit each other with a clothesline. Guevara puts Daniels on the top rope, but he reverses it for STO. And at this point, again, I am questioning what the fuck is going on, because Pentagon Jr. appears on the ramp, and he's just on the mic telling Daniels to show me. He just keeps saying, show me, show me, show me. And again, the crowd is like, what the fuck is going on? What do you want him to show you? I'm not going to say it, but you guys know where I was going with that. And nobody has a fucking clue what Pentagon Jr. is talking about. But someone on Twitter did say that they began this little thing that Pentagon and Christopher Daniels are in on AEW Dark. And while I like what they're doing with AEW Dark, it kind of it's confusing, because if the crowd doesn't watch AEW Dark and then you continue these storylines on the main shows, you're going to confuse the crowd, because half of the crowd may know what's going on, but the other half of the crowd is like, what is going on? Like me, I don't watch AEW Dark. I mean, I should and I would if I could, but I don't. So thank you to Twitter for filling in the logic gaps for me. Guevara hits a super kick to the back of Daniels' head for a 3 count, and he wins the match. After the match, Dark Order comes out, and this is when I just, oh God, like, why would you bring the Dark Order out after we had to sit through insufferable, insufferable interruptions from the Nightmare Collective? Like, these two groups are so similar to each other, and their gimmicks don't help them stand out. So why would you have one after the other? I mean, I understand maybe like if you put them after another match, after a segment, but having them come out right after each other doesn't help the group at all. I don't really care for the Dark Order. If it wasn't for Twitter, I would not even know Evil Uno's name, because I just don't give a fuck. But anyway, the Dark Order tries to recruit Christopher Daniels. Young Bucks and SCU run out to make the save. Daniels hits the best moonsault ever, and we are off to the races. Please, I'm happy that they got the Nightmare Collective and the Dark Order shit out and over with early in the evening, because this was just terrible. This ugh. Anyway, the next match was the Lucha Bros versus Cody and Dustin with Arn Anderson. And I just want to say again, like, Cody is just such a main event superstar. Like, when whatever city they're in, Cody gets one of the biggest pops of the night. And I'm really, really happy for him. The crowd like sings along with his theme song, and he just screams championship material. And I just love how the crowd just stays with him. I may be nitpicking, but Pentagon Jr. and this zero fear thing that he keeps doing, it's becoming quite annoying. Like, I understand it's part of the whole Lucha Bros gimmick thing, whatever, but it is really becoming annoying. Like, he's wasting so much time taking off the glove and doing the zero fear in people's face. Like, dude, okay, we get it. We get it. You and Phoenix, they're untouchable in that ring, but that zero fear thing is just annoying. And it's like the crowd saying it with them all the time. It's cute and all, but it's going to get old really quickly. And it's one of those things where you want to do it where the crowd, where you want to amp up the crowd when they're kind of like being a little too quiet or something like that. But it's like, if you do it every week, it's going to become stale. And the last thing I want is for the Lucha Bros to become stale, because any match that they're in is excellent. So that is just one of my little nitpicks, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, this match was pretty good. Cody and Pentagon start off the match. Cody tags in Dustin. Pentagon tags in Phoenix. Dustin went for a running bulldog. Phoenix reverses. Both brothers tag in their partners again. Pentagon kicks Cody's shin, and Cody lands his own super kick before tagging in Dustin again. Pentagon with a step up enziguri. Phoenix hits a suicide dive. Pentagon lands some diving foot stomps on Dustin. They were really working over Dustin's legs in this match, and it kind of slowed down the beginning of the match. But once Cody got in, like, it was, on fire at this point. Um, Phoenix kicks Dustin's shins. He hits him in the head repeatedly, tags in Pentagon. Dustin is really selling his leg. Pentagon stomps on Dustin's leg. Um, Phoenix tags in again. Dustin sends Phoenix flying over the ring. Phoenix goes for a chair at this point, but Arn Anderson kicks the chair out of his hands. That got a little pop from the crowd. Dustin lands a beautiful spine buster, tags in Cody, hits a power slam on Phoenix. Cody lands a suicide dive on Pentagon, a bicycle kick on Phoenix, and he does the little 10 count punches in the corner. Cody goes for crossroads, but Phoenix reverses and does a jumping cutter to Phoenix, tags in Pentagon. Pentagon lifts Cody up for the package pile driver, but Cody pushes him back in the corner, tags in Dustin. Phoenix hits a drop kick. Phoenix is on the top rope at this point. He runs the ropes effortlessly. Like, what can't Phoenix do in that ring? He kicks Cody in the head. Pentagon drops Cody on his neck and his shoulder. Dustin hits a power slam and hits a Canadian destroyer. Cody hits his Cody cutter on Pentagon, and Dustin gets the 3 count with the final reckoning. So Cody and Dustin win the match. After the match, Tony Schiavone goes to the ring to interview Cody about MJF's stipulations. Arn Anderson interrupts and says that he's not sure how MJF thinks he has the stroke to make these kind of stipulations. He says, did someone die and make MJF God? He says that they will talk about the match and get back to us next week. I did like this. I like how Arn Anderson, he's kind of taking the coach role. I mean, they are considering him a coach for the Nightmare family. And it kind of just brings a little bit more importance to Cody's character and how Cody is going to approach his match with MJF next week. Not next week, at the next pay-per-view, excuse me. This is where I got, again, this show, what I'm taking from the show is a lot of confusion. If you don't, if you like continuity like me, and the tiniest details matter. But we had an in-ring promo where MJF is calling out Cody, and I don't know if this was a botch. It sounded like it, but JR says something like, Cody's not even in the building. But I'm sitting here like, didn't we just see Cody and Dustin have a match 5 minutes ago? So did he teleport out of the building? Like, he is clearly still in the building. But then I thought, hey, you know what? Cody can't really touch MJF, so maybe that's a reason why. But then it's like, he still could have came out to the ramp and they could have exchanged some words. Because right now, MJF is really the only one that's selling this match with his in-ring promos. And, it didn't flow well to me. But again, it could just be me. MJF counts down from 10 as he calls out Cody, but then he says, Cody, of course you're not going to come out because you're a little bitch. Instead, DDP comes out. And it's always great to see DDP. I love that he is still in great shape for his age. Again, I did not know why DDP came out. I know that he has close relations with the Rose family and they go back years. But again, I didn't understand why he came out. But anyway, DDP gets in the ring and he starts plugging his different accolades, Hall of Famer and DDP Yoga, which is now DDPY because as JR told us on commentary, DDP hates the word yoga. Well, I guess whatever. I mean, why would you build your whole brand on yoga and hate the word yoga? But whatever. MJF is in the background and he's on his phone and he legit sends out a tweet that says, "When will this old fart shut up?" And I just cackled because MJF is such a fucking douchebag and I love every bit of it. So DDP says his Twitter and Instagram have been blowing up with people asking him if he's gonna come back for one more match. And MJF interrupts him because obviously he has had fucking enough of DDP. Like, you're cutting into my promo time. I asked for Cody, not you. But he says that even in DDP's prime, he couldn't lace MJF boots. He says that with DDP's orthopedic arms, he couldn't even hold his jock. MJF tells DDP to relax and says that he doesn't want to fight him. But then the Butcher Blade and Bunny come out. And again, I mean, I get that MJF hired them to take care of Cody, but this, just find something for them to do. Have them go for the tag team championships or something because I feel like they're just there's just too many people in what's supposed to be this personal storyline between it's this personal feud between MJF and Cody. But MJF says that although DDP may be senile, WCW is dead. Again, I cackled. And MJF says that ironically, dead is the age of DDP's fan base, and that DDP basically has two options. He can kiss the ring, get out of the company and get out of the company, or MJF can send DDP straight to hospice and then he can take one of DDP's diamond daughters, lay her down, and then he says, "I'm going to do the one thing that you do," which is, and then he does DDP's bang gesture. And again, MJF is just fucking awesome. Like, it's sickening how good this guy is. But anyway, DDP hits a diamond cutter on the Butcher and the Blade. The Bunny gets in, distracts DDP, and MJF hits a low blow on DDP. And after this, QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes come out to save DDP. And I just love how they waited till after DDP got low blowed to come out. Like, why didn't you come out when you saw that the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny were out? Like, obviously DDP was outnumbered and that wasn't going to end well. So why did you wait so long? But anyway, MJF made that whole segment. So I don't really have any complaints after that. The next match was the Jurassic Express versus the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. And um, after seeing this match, this was a fun match. This was a cute match. It is what it is. But I love the Jurassic Express. I think Luchasaurus is fucking amazing. But Marco's stunt, and I know this was his hometown, so obviously, let him get a little shine. I'm not mad at that. But Marco's stunt, I don't know where to begin. I like him, but I feel like he takes away from the group. The walking back and forth and beating his chest, and I really think it takes away from the group because, like I said, Luchasaurus is a star, and even Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy has that star quality to him, but I feel like Marco Stunt makes the group into a comedy act, and I just it's gonna get old really quickly. And Orange Cassidy, I mean, this guy could sneeze and just the crowd would go crazy. It's amazing. And I did like that he finally got into the ring and was able to do something because I feel like people are either gonna hate him or love him. And the people that hate him don't understand the gimmick, but it also doesn't help if he just continues to stand on the sidelines and just look cool. And like I said, although that is his gimmick, like it's people are gonna want to see more from him eventually. And I'm just happy that he actually got involved in this match. Chuck Taylor and Jungle Boy started the match. Um, Jungle Boy hits a drop kick. Chuck Taylor tags in Trent Beretta. Well, I'm sorry, I keep calling him Trent Beretta. It's just a force of habit. I'm gonna continue to call him Trent Beretta. But Jungle Boy tags in Marco Stunt. He jumps on Trent. Marco hits a Hurricanrana. He goes for an inside cradle for a 2 count. He tags in Jungle Boy again, who hits an atomic drop. Goes for the pin. Gets a 2 count. Chuck Taylor breaks up the pin. And then we go to commercial break. When we come back, Chuck Taylor lands a Falcon Arrow, but Marco Stunt interrupts the pin. Jungle Boy comes in with the clothesline. Chuck Taylor tags in Trent, and then finally Luchasaurus gets into the ring. He hits a round kick on Trent. He stomps Chuck Taylor, and this is when the crowd fucking went crazy because Trent tags in Orange Cassidy, and you could literally see everybody in that arena stand up and get their phones out just because Trent tagged in Orange Cassidy. Cassidy goes for his devastating kicks, but Luchasaurus catches him, lifts him. Cassidy lands a stunner, a drop kick on Jungle Boy, and then goes for his suicide dive with his hands in his pockets. Then the best friends go for their hug. The camera zooms out. Awesome. Just that's always an awesome visual. Trent lands a spear. Orange Cassidy tries to pin, but Marco Stunt lands a kick to Cassidy's head. Marco hits a destroyer on Trent. He gets on Luchasaurus' shoulders and goes for a crossbody. Jungle Boy rolls up Chuck Taylor for the 3 count, and Jurassic Express wins the match. Then we have the main event. Will Jon Moxley join the Inner Circle? And I can just tell you, like, AEW, one thing that they do get right is, yes, Chris Jericho is their champion and he's their featured, he's like the feature presentation. But I can tell you, I can only speak for me, honestly, but Chris Jericho, I never get tired of seeing Chris Jericho. Even with the Inner Circle, he doesn't really need them because he is a star on his own, but I do not get tired of Chris Jericho because I feel like every week he gives us something new. And I was really happy to finally see him and Jon Moxley in the ring, although this was just a whole big swerve for Jon Moxley to get close enough to Chris Jericho to attack him. But this segment was good. Sammy Guevara, I just want to say, please keep doing the cue cards during the commercial break because they're fucking hilarious. And I am 1000% behind Sammy Guevara because Selma Hayek is fucking gorgeous. And if she wants to get in my DMs, I'm not mad at it at all. But anyway, in my notes, I wrote that Moxley versus Jericho is already a main event match. And although this segment was good, I just feel like it's one of those situations where the match is going to sell people over the actual build. Because we know that Jericho and Moxley are both gold on the mic. And they could kill it in a back and forth promo. But one thing I will say is these last couple of weeks haven't really done anything to make me any more interested than I already was. So, Jon Moxley kind of, leads Chris Jericho on like, yeah, you can't buy me. And I feel like he was hinting at like what WWE was trying to do and Vince, offering him a ton of money to stay. But he's like, basically, I can't be bought. And the Inner Circle is where it's at. And I would be stupid if I didn't join. So he says, yes, he's going to join. And the crowd starts yelling, oh, you sold out. And that's just the power of Jon Moxley and his character, because he was able to go from this beloved, I don't want to call him a hero, but this beloved character, and he in a snap of a finger could make you think that, oh, he really sold out on us, like he's really going to join the Inner Circle. But while they're all celebrating, Jon Moxley grabs the mic and he says, oh yeah, Chris Jericho, one last thing, I lied. And then he hits a paradigm shift DDT on Chris Jericho, another one on Sammy Guevara, and then he jumps out the ring before Jack Hager could get to him. And as usual, Jon Moxley is always one step ahead. while he's going up the stairs in the crowd, he pulls out the car keys out of his pocket and he's like, I'm not joining the inner circle, but I will take this Ford GT from you. So overall, good show, not their best, but like I said, it did build, they did continue some stories and build towards their Bash at the Beach pay-per-view that's coming up, if I'm not mistaken, the WCW-esque Bash at the Beach show that's coming up. So we have to look forward to some good matches. And like I said, I enjoyed the show. It wasn't their best, but it wasn't their worst either. AEW just really needs to get their women's division together, because it's cringe like. It's almost on like SmackDown level of bad. So we don't ever want AEW to get to that level. They did beat NXT in the ratings again, which is always good, but they are not a perfect company. The production and the whole setup, their shows are always top quality in that aspect, but their roster could use a little bit more depth. But it's still early. I have high expectations, but I'm not expecting you know a blowout every week. So that is my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on all my socials. And I will see you guys next week. Love you and have a great weekend.